Assalamu alaikum. Um, Greetings. My name is Dr. Gloria Bashir, and on behalf of Masjid Al Taqwa, Resident Imam Tariq Al Amin, as well as the Talim Committee, along with myself, Dr. Lionel Allen, chaired by Dr. Aisha Al Amin. We greet you with the greetings of peace, and we're going to open up today with Al Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, with the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to God, the cherisher and sustainer of the world, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, in thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath and who go not astray. Again, assalamu alaikum. So today's topic that I will be presenting on is eating to live and more, your path to wellness. And the focus is going to be more so on the and more, and how you can use that and more to improve your health and wellness, inshallah. So we're going to be talking about, in particular, some foods that are mentioned in the Holy Quran. And those include a host of fruits and vegetables, and why those fruits and vegetables are important. We're also going to be talking about meats, animal protein. Can you mute yourself? Someone just signed in. Can you mute, please? As well as animal proteins, including fish, fowl, and various red meats. And what I encourage is that stop at any point, ask questions, because I want this to be an exchange, right? Ask questions, anything that you need clarified, because my goal is to give you a different take on some information that some of you obviously will know, but a different take that looks at longevity. So to start, and I'm going to go over the list of foods that's in the Quran toward the end of the presentation. But to start, I want to talk about how to take steps to improve your health span. Not your lifespan, because we know what our lifespan is. That's from birth to death. But your health span. And your health span, those are the years that you are healthy and vibrant and feeling good, and as our millennials say, living your best life, right? And in order to do that, there are some things that you need to know. So I need you to really understand, for those of you who may not, the state of your metabolic health. Your metabolic health includes your weight, your BMI, which is your body mass index, your blood pressure, your glucose, your A1C, your cholesterol, and your triglycerides. And why these are important? So they're important because all of those values give us a look into what our health is now and where we can take it to improve our health span. So all of those, your weight depends on what your height is. What's a proper weight for you? Depends on your height, okay? And we know that as African Americans, we tend to have a little more muscle mass. And so if we weighed 140 pounds and you looked at someone in another group, a Caucasian perhaps, or an Asian, we would look very different. Our 140 pounds versus their 140 pounds. And the reason is because our body shape and our muscle mass is a bit different. And African Americans, sometimes we're a little more muscular, And that's a very positive thing. But given the way that many of us eat these days, we're becoming less muscular. And I want to be able to hone in on the importance of building muscle. And so as you look at, and you can Google what is your proper BMI for your height and weight. When you meet with your doctor, or perhaps you've already done that, then you should know hopefully what your glucose is, what your fasting glucose is. That's a very important number. Generally, doctors want to see that under 100, your fasting glucose. Your A1C generally should be under 5.7, optimally. Your cholesterol, under 200 for total cholesterol. But they really like to see your LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, closer to under 150, okay? So those are the figures that you wanna think about, and perhaps you've talked to your doctors and you wanna go ahead and have further conversations. And keep in mind that anything that I say today, always have these conversations with your doctor. Okay, your doctor is your medical partner. Your doctor is the one who knows your history. Perhaps you may be on a medication, or you may have a particular condition that may put you at risk for some of these metabolic factors to be elevated or very low. So that's a conversation that you want to be able to have with your doctor, okay? Because they know your health status, and they're your partners. So, you know, the two of you should work together. So anything that's said in this talk today, make sure that you go over that information with your doctor. The second thing I want to talk about is going back to muscle mass. How increasing your muscle mass equals longevity. The heart is a muscle. There are muscles throughout your body. Muscle health equates to also bone health. Bone health is very, very important. Brittle bones, low bone density is osteoporosis. And osteoporosis, as you age, we all lose bone density. We all lose some strength in our bones, right? But osteoporosis, one bad fall can land you in the hospital. It could lead to a broken hip, or a broken, thigh muscle, thigh bone, or, and that can land you in the hospital and land you in a lot of trouble. So you want to make sure that you are building muscle so that you are also building bone. And one of the greatest ways to build bone is through weight-bearing movement. And that is walking. If you are a runner, it's running. If you are not so much a walker or a runner, that means lifting weights, doing weight-bearing exercises. That's how you build bone, and that's how you build muscle mass. So with our bone health, again, that's so very important, because it reduces your risk of falling if you have good bone health. And if you have good muscle, your chances of a better recovery, should you have a bad fall, are way better if your muscle health is good, if you've managed to build strong muscle. So those are very, very important things that I hope that we can come back to. I hope there are questions about that, because there's some supplementation that you can do as well to enhance your bone health, okay? Now, I want to also talk about the value of exercise, and how exercise not just works on building muscle in your body, muscle in your heart, but it also helps to build mental health. Very, very important. Exercise creates mental stimulation. Now, there are other things that you can do to stimulate your mental health, right? Doing crossword puzzles, Sudoku, puzzles. There are a lot of things that you can do to keep yourself mentally sharp, but exercise is something that many of us should be doing every day. And with regard to exercise, it doesn't require a lot. You don't have to spend hours and hours at the gym unless that's your jam, unless that's something you really enjoy. But it's not necessary. A mere 30 minutes a day is all that's needed. A mere 30 minutes. And exercise is cumulative. So it can be, if you've not exercised in a while and you're trying to get back into exercise, you can do 10 minutes at a time. And it's cumulative. The idea is though is that you break a sweat. You don't have to be drenching wet, but break a sweat so that you are elevating your heart rate, because that's how you exercise that heart muscle. Any questions about that? Okay. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about the immune system, because all of these things work in concert to increase your health span. So your immune system. The immune system has been challenged. All of our immune systems have really been challenged these last couple of years with COVID. And we've all been, trying to be more careful, hopefully trying to eat a little better so that we can keep our immunity strong, okay? And some of the fruits that we're talking about, that we're going to talk about later in the discussion, play an important role with the immune system, along with vitamin D. Now, our fruits and vegetables are loaded with polyphenols and antioxidants, and I'll talk about that. Polyphenols are the most abundant antioxidant that you could have in your body. These are the most abundant in antioxidants. And they are also anti-aging. And anti-aging is not just about the wrinkles on our skin, but it's anti-aging for the brain, it's anti-aging for the heart, it's anti-aging for the joints, okay? Very important. And polyphenols and antioxidants support brain health and heart health. So so fruits and vegetables are very, very important in our lives. And I know we all know that it enhances our digestion, our elimination, but they really go so far beyond that. And I'm going to talk with you about some of the polyphenols that are most significant, okay? The sources of the polyphenols. And these are berries.
Thank you.
Blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Berries are very, 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 very high in antioxidants. So also our black tea, black tea, green tea, even coffee, and avocados, black and green olives, spinach, broccoli, red onions, or just a few are some of the fruits and vegetables that you should include in your diet that are also spoken about in the Quran. Flavonoids, another concept that you've probably heard. These are also antioxidants. but they are found most abundantly in dark chocolate. So there, if you ever needed a reason to eat more chocolate, there's one. Flavonoids. Very, very anti-aging as well. Resveratrol, another antioxidant. You've heard probably on many commercials and such, antioxidants, drinking red wine. Well, you can find the resveratrol in red grapes, okay? The skin of the grape. That's where the resveratrol is. And now research is showing that, nope, you don't have to drink red wine to get resveratrol. Vitamin A, which is beta carotene. Vitamin E, another antioxidant. And vitamin C, all of these are antioxidants. And the reason that they are most important, all antioxidants, but these in particular, is because they prevent oxidative stress in our bodies. So, and which is why they're referred to as antioxidants. They prevent the oxidative stress. And the reason that is so important is because cells become diseased when they are oxidated. And so you want to keep that cell whole, to keep that cell healthy, therefore consuming more antioxidants in your diet. So oxidative stress, these are free radicals. So you've probably heard that, some of you. Free radicals are found everywhere. They're throughout our environment. Pollution is a huge free radical. Cigarette smoke, alcohol, stress becomes a free radical. So a reason to try to minimize stress in your life. And speaking of stress, one of the ways to improve your health span is through meditation, through deep breathing. Of course, we know through prayer and being intentional in your life. Those are activities that help to calm the mind and the spirit. So it's important to consider all of these activities.
Okay. You too. Thank you.
Can you mute yourself, please? So it's really important to consider all of these activities and foods as we are, for some of us, on the second half, right? The second half of our life, where we're trying to improve our health and be as vibrant as we can be. So vitamin D, the last vitamin that I'll talk about, is vitally, vitally important, especially for us as African Americans, for everyone, but particularly for African Americans, because you get vitamin D from the sun. That's the natural source of vitamin D. But because of the melanin in our skin, our skin blocks the sun rays. And so in some respect, the sun, I think I've got a couple, let's see if we've got some questions in here. I'm on a different device today, so please pardon me. Okay. Okay, someone says, thank you for the topic. If I walk for 1/2 hour at a moderate pace, I usually don't break a sweat. Does this mean I should be walking at a more brisk pace? Yes. Also, is there a benefit to walking at other types of exercise if you don't get the heart rate up? Yes and yes. So I'll take a pause on the vitamin D and answer this question. Yes, you want to break a sweat. I don't break a sweat often either, and I walk a lot. And, you know, some people just don't sweat very easily. I'm not a big sweater, but it's important to try to break a sweat as best you can. And that often means that you really can pump it up a little bit more. Okay. And the other thing is about walking. One of the benefits of walking is after a meal, if you walk, you can actually decrease any glucose spikes in your blood sugar if you walk 20 minutes after a meal. And I think some of us are familiar with that because those were one of the practices of Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. And now there's proof that this is in fact a very, very healthy practice. And so it can actually bring your blood sugar down. Another question is, are there physical signs that we need to incorporate more antioxidants in our diet? Yes. One thing is fatigue. If you're finding that you're fatiguing a lot, you probably are not getting enough nutrients, really real nutrient dense foods in your diet. And your skin, if your skin is very dry, okay, so that means that you're missing out on some of these important antioxidants. Fruits and vegetables are very good for the skin, and so is vitamin D. Okay, so I took a pause on the vitamin D. I'm going to return to that. Vitamin D is vitally important. And as I said, because of the melanin in our skin, a lot of the vitamin D benefit is blocked for us as African Americans, okay? And so for us, many times we do have to supplement. And many, many, many people in general, but in particular, African Americans are often deficient in vitamin D. And you won't really know that unless you talk with your doctor and they can do a blood test for it. But it's quite common. Almost everyone that I know who've been tested, who's African American, were in fact deficient and had to actually go on a prescription strength vitamin D for a short period of time to bring their D levels up. And then you have to maintain your D levels. But vitamin D is crucial for bone health, for brain health, your muscle recovery, as well as your heart. So it is absolutely a vital micronutrient, okay? Good sources of vitamin D, of course, fish, salmon, sardines, cod liver oil. For those of you who are vegetarian, nuts and seeds, flaxseed oil. Those are very good. So avocado, very good sources. Okay. Egg yolks also are very high, a good source of vitamin D. So it's a very important nutrient. It's referred to as one of the 24 essential micronutrients that your body absolutely needs, because it is critical in the functioning of your cells throughout your body. So let's see. And I'm on a different device today, so pardon me if I'm delayed in responding to anything. So are there any questions? Because I'd like to entertain any questions that you have about antioxidants, oxidative stress, your polyphenols, which are part of the antioxidant family, your health span, and then I also have an immune prescription for you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the foods that's in the Quran and Sunnah. And there's some debate. Let's see, there is a question. Is it possible to overconsume any of these things that I've mentioned? Yes, it is possible. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. And yes, you can overdo it. There are water-soluble and fat-solubles. Water-soluble vitamins would be like your B vitamins and C. Those would be your water solubles. So if you take too much C, let's say you're fighting a virus or cold, and you are taking round-the-clock vitamin C, and which is a good thing to do because it's wonderful for that. But if you take too much and you're only going to do this for a short period of time, and yes, you can even overdo it on vitamin C and create kidney stones. But this is not something that you're going to do every day. For that short period of time while you're trying to recover from the virus or whatever, that you've contracted, your body will just eliminate it. So you will excrete it through your urine. The same with B vitamins. Your body will use what it needs and excrete it through your urine. But vitamin A, which is beta carotene, and vitamin D are fat soluble. So you don't want to overdo those. There are guidelines. Again, I would recommend that you get tested by your doctor to see exactly where you are. But generally speaking, most people can take safely about 2 to 3,000 IUs daily of vitamin D, most people. Some people require more. Most people don't really require less, but most people will require a little more than that. But you want to check with your doctor to make sure that you don't overdo it. But you won't overdo it unless you're supplementing, because you won't get that level of vitamin D through just your regular eating, your regular diet. You will have to supplement in order to overdo it, unless there is something that's not functioning properly within your liver or some other organ in your body. So again, that's why it's important to have these conversations with your doctor. Okay, let me check. I feel like I take a large number of supplements. Can you recommend any that you found to work particularly well? I do take a lot of supplements myself because I know that I am deficient in some areas. So I do take a lot of supplements. I think starting with a good multivitamin is always a good start. The multivitamins are not the values of the various vitamins contained in the multivitamin are not going to be, they're going to be within what's called the RDA, the recommended daily allowance. Okay, that's a good place to start. And then other areas, like you can always take a little more vitamin C, because it is, vitamin C is really good for wound healing, by the way. So if you are struggling with, let's say you've had a surgery, or you've sprung your ankle or something, vitamin C is really, really good for wound healing. And so is vitamin D, of course. So those are the things that you can take a little more of. But again, have the conversation with your doctor to make sure that you are not taking more than what your body can tolerate. But I personally take vitamin D. I take vitamin K2D, which helps to keep the calcium out of my heart and out of my blood vessels, okay, and going into my bones, okay. I also take black seed oil, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I take zinc daily because zinc is also one of those micronutrients, and it's very important for you. I take fish oil. If you're a vegetarian, you we'll look at nuts and seeds as well as flaxseed oil. But that's my source for omega-3s. And I didn't talk about omega-3s before, but I will talk about that a little bit now. Omega-3s are very, very critical for you. Most doctors now, well, I shouldn't say doctors, I would say more, not so much doctors, because doctors don't always talk about vitamins, but fish oil is recognized by a lot of medical professionals as something that's important to take. And it's an omega-3. And the reason it's important
Yes,
is that it's good for.
wanted to get
Can you mute yourself?
vitamin. Sorry.
Omega-3s are good for bone health, brain health, heart health, joint health. And I actually have an article that I was just going to cite for this talk today that talks about it's now recommended. And again, this may not be your doctor's recommendation, so talk to your doctor about it before you do it. But it's now recommended that you take anywhere from 2 to 4 grams of omega-3 daily. So a gram is 1,000 milligrams. So that would be 2 to 4,000 milligrams daily, because it's that vital for all of those systems in your body. And let's see if we have another question. I do. Okay. What would you recommend for natural healing of arthritis pain? So arthritis, arthritis is a degenerative condition. That's what it is by nature. And so it doesn't heal per se, but you can slow it down. And what I recommend is curcumin. Curcumin comes from the turmeric plant. And I strongly, strongly recommend curcumin. It's very effective for pain management, and it also is very good for your heart and for your brain and your joints in general. So curcumin. You do have to get a good brand. So, and it's fine to eat turmeric, to include turmeric as part of your spices in your cooking, but you will not get the level of curcumin, which is the active part of the turmeric plant, right? You will not get enough through using it as a spice to feel any real difference. It's beneficial, but if you're talking about arthritic pain, you need to get a separate curcumin supplement for that. Curcumin, as I said, I actually take it daily, and it's very beneficial. I give it to friends and family all the time. It's better than taking ibuprofen, Tylenol, Motrin, those NSAIDs, which can be very dangerous sometimes. The NSAIDs, and we're used to taking it because, you know, it's advertised on TV every day. The first time you get an injury, you go to the doctor, the first thing they're going to tell you is take, you know, they're going to prescribe an NSAID for you. But NSAIDs are, you know, they come with a lot of side effects. So the curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory. Okay, curcumin, someone's asking to spell it. C-U-R-C-U-M-I-N, curcumin. And if you like, please feel free to just raise your hand and voice your question. Feel free to do that. Do I hear a hand? So I'm going to go over some of the foods that are in the Quran and why they're so beneficial for you. So we know about dates. We know why dates are beneficial. It's a wonderful way to uh, when your blood sugar is low, to bring up your blood sugar in a very, very natural way. Um, Very few people, I think, have a bad reaction to dates. If you do have a blood sugar issue, you may have to limit your dates, but most people are able to tolerate dates pretty well. And we know that this is one of the foods of Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, and that we as Muslims traditionally use for breaking our fast. So dates, we keep dates in our house. We eat dates all the time. It's a very, very healthy food for you to consume. Olives, I spoke about olives earlier in the talk. Olives, it has vitamins and minerals and lowers the risk of heart disease. So olives, olive oil are all very, very healthy for you. Figs, figs are mentioned in the Quran. Figs are very high in fiber. It lowers the cholesterol and lowers your blood sugar. Citrus fruits lowers cholesterol, aids in digestion. Some people have a practice of drinking like hot lemon water to start their day. Lemon in particular lowers the risk of kidney stones. Can you mute yourself? And citrus fruits are also very high in polyphenols. Black seed oil. You can consume the black seed or drink the oil. This is an autoimmune. It has autoimmune properties and it fights inflammation. Basil, a spice. It's an herb. Basil has antidepressant properties as well as anti-anxiety properties. Garlic. Garlic is a natural antibiotic and it lowers cholesterol. It really works well for lowering cholesterol, but you have to be consistent. Lentils, great source of protein and fiber. Pomegranates increases blood flow and is also loaded with polyphenols. In fact, with pomegranates, because it increases blood flow, some feel that it even has an impact on helping to lower blood pressure a little bit because it increases blood flow. Grapes, loaded with polyphenols. Ginger, it settles the stomach, settles nausea. Apples contain potassium, another one of those micronutrients, full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and aloe vera. There are many, many more foods, but I wanted to just kind of, leave it there and leave some room for discussion. So aloe vera, very good for for soothing the skin and soothing the stomach. And those are the benefits of some of the foods that we consume, maybe some of us on a regular basis, maybe some of us not so regular, but this is hopefully a good opportunity for you to include more of those foods in your diet. Other foods, corn, lemongrass, cucumber, saffron, barley, wheat, bananas, sesame, watermelon, onion, pumpkin, mustards, and chards are just a few other foods that are listed in the Holy Quran that all have really good medicinal value for us. And let's see, are there any questions about your health span? How to really begin to work on improving our health span? One of the things I did want to mention for those who are vegetarian, and there are ways for you to incorporate, as I said, some of the vitamin D in your diet, because vitamin D, there are vegetarian sources for vitamin D. And I do use a vitamin D that is from a vegetarian source, although most vitamin D is not from a vegetarian source, but I do use one that is. So there are ways to incorporate that because it is an important nutrient for you. Making sure that you are, especially if you're vegetarian, that you're getting in protein and collagen as best you can. Collagen is normally from a meat source, but there are some vegan options for collagen, and of course for protein. If you're a vegetarian, you are already aware how to get protein, but getting more protein, because the protein is very important for your health and your health span. And I want to speak just a little bit more about exercise. And I'd like to pose a question that how many of those who are listening are regularly exercising? And I'd like, if you are regularly exercising, if you can just come on screen and talk about your routine. Now, someone did just ask a question, and I'll address that while I'm waiting to see who's gonna join me in my next walk. Sadiq, so I went to the doctor recently who recommended a carnivore or keto diet. Is eliminating carbs good or bad? Good question. A keto diet does not eliminate carbs because you're still eating, some vegetables. You're just eating a lower carb diet. So it's not eliminating carbs. And I do eat keto-ish. I'm not completely keto, but I do try to eat a lower carb diet. And I don't eat a carnivore diet because that's pretty much just all meat. But I do eat a lower carb diet. And you can definitely lower your carbs and be healthy. In fact, if your carbs are lower, it will often lower your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your glucose as well. People have found a lot of success with doing the keto style diet, which is a lower carb diet. Okay. And so you just have to, there's a lot to learn though to do that. And so there are a lot of videos out there, YouTube videos that you can look into. Can you mute yourself? Let me see if I can mute. Okay. There are a lot of videos that can help you on that journey if you choose that. But it's let's see. It's again, I'm fumbling with this phone because my regular device is not working properly. So there are a lot of videos that can help you along that journey if that's something you're interested in doing. There are definitely some health benefits to it for sure. But at the same time, there'll be days when you'll miss some of the carbs that we all are accustomed to, that you may miss, eating those, carb kind of meals that as we're coming on this, approaching the colder weather, and we're all used to kind of our comfort foods, and you'll kind of miss that. But, and then you'll get to a point where you won't miss it. So be patient with yourself if you choose to go on this journey, and, start slow so that your body gets adapted to it. Okay. And if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer. As I said, I've been eating keto-ish for quite a while, and you know, and it keeps you. You don't tend to get that afternoon slump that some people may be more familiar with than others. If you've eaten a big meal at lunchtime, it keeps you a little more active, I think. Okay, if your hand is up, please feel free to speak up. I think I saw, yes, Sister Rashida. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
Walaikum assalam.
Good.
I am good. Oh, praise Allah. I am finally at that second stage of life. I'm over here. It's so timely that I'm listening to this conversation, because I was just at Walgreens and I just got my Creole turmeric with Creole I'm sorry, cute curry. What'd you say I had to be in there?
Qunol.
Yeah. I have that, and then but I wanted to speak on exercise and how beneficial it has been for me, especially like you said, maintaining your mental health and the natural endorphins you get from working out. And
Yes.
I have learned that over the years the importance of not overdoing it, because it's not necessary, and that strength training is very helpful. And I am very grateful for this, for you to have said muscular, building muscles, because that's all I've been at, and mostly muscle. I'm very muscular. So to protect my bones, I feel like I've done a good job with that. But I definitely want to be a person to say that exercise is something that can immediately adjust your mental disposition. And particularly when you're able to go outside and spend time with Allah and going for a walk, you just get more and more invigorated. I just find a park and I walk it till I can get to anywhere between 7,000 and 10,000 steps. I think that's what they said was recommended per day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to co-sign on the wonderful benefits of exercise and having that incorporated in your life. Just for, like you said, protecting your bones and to keep those your muscles strong so that they're not getting weaker as you get older. So
Yes.
all praise to Allah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so very much. And I'm glad you mentioned about the endorphins, because I didn't even talk about that. I just talked about, the bone health aspect of exercising, but absolutely the endorphins. One of the first remedies, if someone is struggling with their emotions, if you're, having a blue day, right? As a friend of mine calls it, I'm having a ho hum day. And one of the first things that most doctors would recommend is start exercising. And you don't have to go out there and beat it up, you can go slow and light, but you'll feel so much better. And I totally agree with you, Sister Rashida. I walk every day, and as it's getting colder, I don't walk outside as much because I don't like the cold. But I tell you, and my husband is my witness, I actually walk about 3 miles a day in my house. In the house. And it's a whole lot of up and down the stairs and around in circles, but I turn on music and I just make it happen. And so I love that. So, if you don't have a gym to attend, or if you don't have a treadmill, or if you don't want to spend money on the gym, or if it's too cold to go outside, you live in a space. Utilize this space where you live. And it works.
One other exercise that I think I'm finding a lot more helpful is yoga, just the practice of it, and just finding a space and finding just even, they have so many online things where you don't even have to go out your house to be able to do yoga. And I can definitely attest to that being a time where you can become more centered. And like you said, if you're having a whole hum day, I feel like that's the best treat I could give myself, was when I'm able to go to the gym to go to the yoga class. But afterwards, I feel like now you just showed yourself a lot of love. Don't you feel good? It's like, because it's all about you connecting back with yourself, and then realizing the stretches and the blessings of not having to feeling like you just gave your joints like a nice massage. You just loved on yourself. So that was the other exercise or regimen that I think is very beneficial.
Yes, 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 yes. You are absolutely right. And there are days, and we all have whole hummy days, and if you are fortunate enough to not, may Allah continue to bless you, right? But when there are days and it's gloomy out or whatever, and you're just kind of feeling, as they say, some kind of way, I tell you, I will make myself exercise. I will make myself. And I feel so much better and so much more alive afterwards. It really, aside from all of the tremendous benefits of exercise, the mental health benefits really are just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I totally agree with you. And and just a one way that you can sneak exercise in, if you're not quite there yet, if you watch a 1 hour program, every commercial, stand up and march in place. And at the end of that hour, you would have done 20 minutes of exercise. And you know what that equates to? About a mile. That's about a mile. So, we all can do it. And if you've got mobility issues or joint issues, then there are other things that you can do to exercise, right? Then you can get some weights and, do arm exercises. So just keep that in mind, that there are always ways that we can improve our health span, okay? Because this is the time to do it for all of us. For many of us on this call, this is the time. We're not 20 anymore. So we've got another minute or so. Let's see. Oh, it says, thank you, Sister Gloria, for this vital information. Appreciate you. I appreciate you all for listening. I hope the information was informative. I hope if you have questions, that you feel free, you can reach out to me. I think that we can spend more time talking about health and wellness. And my goal here today was to talk about eating to live and the and more part. And I hope I was able to convey the and more, all the other things that we need to do to increase our healthy years. And knowing that, it is never too late, because Allah created this vessel that we're in so that it always wants to heal itself. The body wants to heal itself. And all we have to do is give it what it needs. And that is nutrition, that is movement, and prayer. And so with that said, I found this quote, praise be to Allah, who has fed us and given us drink and made us Muslims. Ameen. So thank you all. I hope I was able to, again, convey something that was beneficial to you. And let me see. And okay, I was just checking one last time. So I hope I was able to convey something that was beneficial to you. And may peace and blessings be with all of us. May we all continue to walk with intentionality. May we all continue to, you know, be aware, you know, keep the awareness of our health and our wellness, you know, in the forefront of our existence, right? You know, we want to respect this vessel that Allah has given us, and we want to treat it well. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.